Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at Skymines, specifically with the Luna Automa. So, we're going to take a look at this game. I'm going to show you how it plays. I'll show you what it looks like from a solo perspective. And that way, hopefully, you can get an understanding of if this is a game that you want to put in your collection or one you want to pass on. So, let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it really helps me out. And for those who have, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, so we're about halfway through this game, literally in round 4 of 7. And we're playing the alternate map this time. So there's 2 maps. There's the Luna side, which is very reminiscent of the original feel of Mombasa. And then there is, which this game, of course, is kind of a retheming of by the same designer. And then there is this side, which is the asteroid belt, where we got a little bit of a different situation here. In the asteroid belt side, you have to have these little satellites form these connectors as part of the company expansion in order for you to actually put your company outposts on these expansion spots and gain the rewards. What it effectively does is that it tightens up the map, so it makes it even tighter and a little less free-flowing, because you can't really jump or use other people's lanes once they have it. You have to oust them from it. So in that regard, it makes for a tighter experience. Besides that, the feel seems fairly similar. There's a couple of smaller rules. When you go to a asteroid, the first time you get the rewards here. The second time you don't get anything. But if you take 2 of these, you unlock that the helium-3, let's just say helium-3 storage tank or generator or pump, which can help for some of the cards here, help you get more helium-3, for instance, of this card here. Now, for those who are not familiar with this game or with Mombasa, this is an economic game where the most money wins. And the way you're trying to get the money is you are going, basically what you're doing is you're investing in these companies, these 4 different companies here, and you're expanding their presence on the board. And as you expand their presence on the board, they become more valuable. You also are trying to move yourself up on their share tracks to buy more shares of their company. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for the number of shares times the company value of each of the 4 companies. Plus, you're going to get points for what you've gathered in your helium-3 tanks, which is basically a way to move up and really move along this tank farm. And as you cross these different spots, if you go from this spot to this spot, it's worth 10. If you go here, then your final score will be 15, 25, 30, etc. There's jumps. Also, as you do that, you unlock more slots to be able to use to make your turns more powerful. I'll show you what the slots do in a second. The other thing that you can do is you can chug down this research track right here, gaining points, also gaining rewards for where you stop, plus gaining some end game bonuses if you cross certain tiles, and unlocking another slot for you to put your cards down and ultimately play them. The mechanism of this game that provides the angst is that once you play your cards, you don't get them back for a while. You actually have to transfer them to this waiting area over here, and you're allowed to take one of those stacks before you do the transfer, and then that refills some of your hand. But it'll put some of your good cards out of commission, and maybe some of your bad cards out of commission. But the reality is you don't get back what you played for a while, and then sometimes a minimum of 3 turns, depending on where you put the cards. And so that provides some angst. So how do you deal with that? You deal with that by buying cards in this card offer, which are all better than the ones that you have starting off. And you do that through whichever cards you place down here. So there's a lot of interlocking mechanisms. This game, I would say, is solidly medium to medium heavy. But once you get the hang of it, you can kind of see how it goes together. Once you've learned the game, the rules themselves stick with you, which means there's not a ton of rule lookup from a standpoint of the solo and a standpoint of the multiplayer. Now, the other thing that you have to deal with in this, or the other mechanic you have, is a limited amount of worker placement, which are related to these bonus tiles here, or these bonus markers, and you can place them on these different bonus spaces on the board to get specific rewards, or up here if you have the maximum or tied for the max of a specific amount of card played. then you can get these spaces going here, which largely advance you on the company tracks to gain you more points. The other thing about, or more shares, pardon me. The other thing about the advancing on the tracks is that you will unlock certain bonuses. You could unlock more shares like I've talked to you about, but you also can unlock different numbers of coins, so you get more crypto coin or crypt coin, pardon me, which is the points in the game. And of course, there are other ways to score some points in the game by getting these, and you can also spend them for different things too. Like a lot of these bonuses require you to spend them, and that's kind of a situation where you invest your points now for hopefully bigger payoff later. So that's an overview of what we're doing. Now, as far as the solo game is concerned, it is completely controlled by this little deck of cards here. And the solo bot is highly customizable. So I'm playing on level 2, which is the normal level. There's a 1 and a 0, which is easier. And then it goes from 3 to 8, I believe, to make it more challenging. And basically what those levels do is they put in more and more of these really powerful cards into this deck as you play, if you advance the difficulty level. Normally, you get more powerful cards in the deck every time you exhaust the deck and need to reshuffle. So let me go through a full round so that you guys can see the whole flow, and then I'll tell you about the way I feel about the game from a solo perspective, and you can see if it's something for you or not. So you always start off as the first player, and I've got 3 slots. So I have to choose up to 3 cards of what I have to do my actions this turn. Now, I've already pre-thought this out. I'm going to choose this card right here, which is going to allow me to advance on the research track. I'm going to choose this card right here, which is going to allow me to expand some of the companies out on the board. And I'm going to choose this card right here for a variety of reasons. Number 1, oh, pardon me. I just realized I'm going to do it in a little bit of a different order. Not going to choose this energy one. I'm going to choose this other ore card, because I have this bonus card here that I got in the previous round, which lets me fulfill some conditions and still expand. So those are my 3 actions. Now let's see what Luna's majorities are going to be. So Luna is going to have 3 on the blue track right here. I have a 2, which means I will not be able to play on that track as it stands from the bonus side. And a 4 on the energy. So that's very unlucky because I have energy as well. So that means I'm not going to be able to use these bonuses right now. After he executes or she executes her turn, of all 3 actions that she's going to take this round, one of those may come out of play. All right, which I like that because it's thematically how it would work as you start to do your turns as well. So anyway, I have prepared, she is prepared. Now let's get into the action phase where the meat and potatoes happen, okay? So the first thing I'm going to want to do is this research. However, I know that I actually have to come up with 5 coins to spend to get as far down to this research track as I can. And the research track works like this. There are little icons printed on these research tiles. These little icons show a requirement for passing over them. You don't actually have to spend that requirement. You just have to have the requirement shown in your player area. So this one says right here, I have to have 2 titanium and 1 carbon showing. This one says I have to have 2 energy and 2 carbon showing. These are different. These are special tiles that you get from the rounds, and you have to actually pay to move over those. Those are a little bit different. Hence, I need 5 coins if I want to do this. You can move as far as you can until you hit a condition or a spot where you don't have research, and then you have to stop. So you want to try to make these things as grouped nicely as possible as you gather these research tokens throughout the game. Now, I told you I was a coin short, so what are my options? Well, I can do this very simple action right here. I can take the first player action, but I can't do it this turn. That you're not allowed to do the first turn if you're already the first player. That would give me 1 research and research value, whatever you want to say, and I could use that to get a coin, but I can't do that. So my other option is I could discard a card and sell it back to the bank. Now I have a low card here, this 1 that I started with. I can sell this back for 1 plus 2 crypt coin to make 3, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to discard this card, and I'm going to get 3 coins, and that's what I used my bonus action for. And now my turn is done, and we move on to Luna's first turn. Now Luna's cards are very self-explanatory, which I love. So check this out here. It tells you exactly what to do in English and how to do it. I really appreciate that. That makes a potentially confusing bot Very easy, because it actually will say exactly what to do if it would ever focus. So it says Luna gains the display card from the space marked X. Afterwards, the display card with the most valuable share, if there are more than one, from the lowest space. So she's going to get 2 cards, okay? It's very clear what's going to happen. It's so much easier to deal with that than some kind of weird iconography. And I know they print games, multi-language components. I get all that and I realize it, but it's refreshing just to have a game with some words on the cards, not just all symbols. And that makes it so much easier as a solo player. Obviously, it's harder if you don't speak the language. And I apologize for those who can't find, I'm not trying to insult anybody who can't find a game in a language that they can understand. It's just nice being an English speaker, finding a game that's published in English. I can read the cards instead of having to sort through a ton of different icons. Okay, so anyway, that's just a nicety from my standpoint. So let's see. So first, Luna's going to get this card. This card has a share on it, what's going to benefit them at the end of the game. And then they're also going to get the most valuable, the most valuable share out here on the board, determined by the company. So this company, based on the fact that it's expanded 3 times, is the most valuable company. This one has no value right now, neither does this one. This one has a value of 1. The more you put out on the board, the more valuable the company. So that means it's going to look for a share in the Tawak Industries. Is there a share in Tawak Industries out there? Yes, there is. It's right here. It's this little icon right there. So Luna's going to gain that as well for scoring at the end. That's Luna's turn. Now it's my turn. I have what I want to do the research, so I'm going to play a research action. And so what I'm going to do, I forgot. When I flip this over, this 2 was supposed to move down Luna on the helium track. All right, now, research action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my cloud. First, I could pay $2 to flip over any of these that I couldn't make work from the requirements. I don't have to do that because I can make them all work. So then I have to pay the 2 and the 3 to cross over these spaces because there's specific tiles that let me do that. So 2 and 3. Now those will give me points at the end of the game. I don't get a reward for them right now. And I meet this requirement because I paid for it. I meet this requirement because it's shown on my board. I meet this because I paid for it. And I meet this because it's shown on my board. When I stop here, I get the 2 credits because that's what it says. And I'm sorry it's so far away, but that's what it says on these little icons here. Because I had all this shown, so a big part of the strategy of this research track is getting your research cloud to go up efficiently based on what you have here. And to do that, you have to seed your research track with things that will line up kind of in pairs or triplicate or whatever. So I've done that, so I flip them over. But before I flip the research scientists over, it does give me 2 credits to spend in the science research area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look forward here. So what do I have? I have a 2 energy. I'm going to probably pick up this stack next time. It's going to leave me a little tight on things. So if I was to research next time, it's going to give me the opportunity to probably have that. And I would like to research. Oh, by the way, I crossed over this spot, which turns this on. So from now on, I can play 4 cards instead of 3. So it's tough. It's tough to figure that out because I don't know exactly what I'm going to have in front of me. However, I will probably, let's see if I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy some cards this round too. So I'm going to buy, that would be a 3. I can't afford that. I'm going to get this 2. So let's see if I can afford, yes. So I know I'm going to buy this round. So I'm going to get this one right here. It costs me those 2 research credits. So I'm going to take that. And this says when I cross over it, I got to have a 2 blue in my hand. So I'm going to put this right here. And then I'm going to take this 1 credit here, which is an incentive to purchase the first one, and we flip this right over. And that is my turn. And I flip that card over, showing I'm done. Now we look at Luna. Luna gains 3 crypt coins from the bank, because it says so. And then Luna gains 3 moves on the 2 most valuable company tracks. So I already told you that was this and this. So we're going to go 3 moves, 1, 2, 3. She passes over that 1 credit bonus, so she gets that. Then we're going to go over here, 1, 2, 3. So she's chugging right up on those tracks pretty quickly. Then Luna discards the research plan that matches where she is. So she is in slot C. That means she's going to discard this one right here. And that's out of the game. So you can see how the Automa Luna opponent does everything that you do. In fact, really plays like a fully functional second player in this game. Okay, now it comes back to me. So I'm going to expand. Let's see. Actually, so she's got, oh, I've got the titanium. I'm going to take the titanium bonus because her value is 2. I'm sorry, 0. Mine is 2. So I can take this max titanium bonus right here. That gets me 2 move ups in the Astrogo company. So now I have 1 share, which is good since she's so far up. She's probably going to pepper this a little bit. I wouldn't mind tagging along with some of that. So that was my turn. Here comes her third turn. She gains 2 on the track here, which means she lands in this space. And I believe if you land it, you don't have to pass it. She will turn that on. All right, so she has now turned that on. That means she has 4 cards to play as well. And she's going to take the card marked X. Oops, it's already gone. She doesn't get anything. Then the card in the D row is right here. She gets this. Unfortunately for me, that counts as a purple share. So she will get, like she has one of these shares on the board in the purple company, which is worth 0 at this point. Her turn is done. Now, this is how she takes action at this point. Since she's finished her cards, she shuffles these, and whichever one on the top lands, we look and see which is the highest value. There's a 3 on the right side. That means it's going to discard this one, which is perfect for my luck. And now this is no longer a card that counts as majorities. Because, why is that perfect? Well, I have a 2 showing right here, which wasn't as good as the 4. So that means now that that's gone, I can play this right on this bonus here. I get 1 crypt coin for doing so, plus I get to move up 2 on this track, which I haven't started climbing yet. Okay, she's done. She's passed for the rest of the game. That's it for her. Now it comes to me. I am going to do some company expansions. So let's go over and flip over this 2. I can spend 2 energy units to expand. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can go. You can expand with any one company when you do that, and you can expand multiple units of the company if you can afford to do so. The company I want to keep expanding is the blue one because I've invested a decent amount. Unfortunately, she's also caught up, which is a little frustrating there. So perhaps what I should do instead is I should start looking at maybe this company here. This company here will be one that isn't worth anything yet, but she hasn't expanded on it either. And maybe I can start making a little bit of a run that way. So let's do that. All right, I have 2 units, right? So I can move this right here, and that would be 1 energy. And that would cost 1 of the 2 energy units I have. So there's 2 crypt currency, okay? So I get 2 as the bonus, and I only get that once. I can move a second unit. If I go there, what that basically does is no help for me whatsoever because I can't use that space again to get the 2 because I've already claimed it once. So I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is, starting from this position, I can count to this energy right here and put that satellite there for future expansion. So that helps me build the road to this spot, which I'd like to get because it would let me get 2 research and 1 on the helium mine. So there we go, I spent the 2. Now when you play those lightning cards for energy, you have to spend all of them to expand, and whatever you don't spend is wasted. Again, they're done, so I keep on going. I got 2 and a 2. So the first thing I'd like to do is buy the card I was telling you about. I want to buy another 2, because that way I can get right into this soon. So let's buy another 2 here. So we'll flip this one over and pick up this 2. There we go, I add it to my hand for next time. I have 1 more turn left. I have no more bonus tokens. I'm going to spend this 2 card. I could either buy another one in the bank that I could afford, or I could use it to advance my tokens out here. And I think I'm going to do that. And the one I'm going to advance is up here. Now, both of us will get a crypt coin because she got there first. But the reason I wanted to advance that is because later I can pay 1 coin to move up 3 times on one track and 2 times on another track. This bonus is going to really help me to move fast on these bonus tracks, or on the company tracks, hopefully in the future. That's why I did it. So I spent everything I could do. She spent everything we do. We're done. Now we reset. She simply discards those cards. She's finished with her reset. She gets back any bonus markers she may have spent. She didn't spend any. I get back my bonus markers that I spent. We take these 2 cards and discard them. Then move everything over here and refill with cards that get progressively better in chunks as you deal them out. Then finally, I have to choose one of my stacks to take back into my hand and then put these up top. I am going to choose this one, even though it's got a bunch of 1 cards in it. It does have my Astro, or my Field Scientist, which I do need because I want to try to extract some more helium gas to get my points up there. Then I can move these in any spot I want. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one over here because I'll pull that track next time. I'll shove this one over here because I just bought them there too, and I'll put this one up here so I can get that in turns future. Then the last thing you do to set up for the new round is you deal off the next card right here, which shows round 5. So I have 5, 6, and 7, and then the game is over. Nobody took any of these bonuses. I have to return this one to be available. These bonuses let you do some research, let you do some gas mining, give you a +1 to one of your cards, and like you saw me here, it gives me the 2 energy I need to expand. So that's the whole thing. That's a full round. You're going to do that 7 times, and as you get deeper into the game, the cards get more powerful. The abilities that you have get a little better. You end up making bigger and bigger moves, so you can have some major swings on these tracks here where people climb up faster than you think. Same thing out here. You can get a lot of energy together. You can put a bunch of stuff down there, dramatically changing the corporation value. You can also oust things, which I didn't demonstrate, but if you build over somebody, you can do that to push their company value potentially back down and increase yours. So there's some back and forth there. But that's about the size of it. That gives you an understanding of the way the game plays. Now, let's go ahead and take it back up top, and I'll show you I'll tell you what I think. Okay, so you've seen a full round of Skymines, and you saw it with the Luna Automobot. You saw it with me playing it. And I pretty much demonstrated most every mechanism, I think. You saw a little bit of how you go up on the research track. You saw the helium track go up. You saw me expand companies. You saw me buy stuff, put research down, all that stuff. That's pretty much the whole game. You do that 7 times. And this game is one where you definitely want strategic play. The players that understand the strategy of what you're doing, you're going to do a ton better. And so I think that's fantastic. There's very little randomness in this game besides how the different tiles come out and how the different cards come out. That's it. There's many ways you can set up the game. So first of all, my first big plus, Alexander Pfister and his cohort, who I want to look that up, who actually helped him, it looks like. Victor Kobalike, if I said that right. Kobalike, I don't know. I'm sorry, Victor, apologize. They did a fantastic job improving this design over Mombasa. Now, I really like the Mombasa, but they added so much more to this game to not make it just a lazy reprint of a game and take away the theme that was bothering some people of colonization. I get it. That can be a sensitive topic. I get it. So they moved it to a space theme, which shouldn't bother anybody, I hope. But then they added in the second board. They added in the solo, which is the whole reason I bought it, because I would have kept my copy of Mombasa had it had a solo component. It didn't. They changed some things, tweaked some things. They added the mission cards, which I didn't show here. They added some threat cards. They added a 4 games campaign, which the solo person can play also. I mean, bravo. Just great job taking a design and enhancing it, because you've had a lot of time to meditate on this game, right? I think the other game came out 10 years ago. So I think it's fantastic that you spent the time and added to your base design. So great job there, hats off. Number 2, fantastic rule book. Fantastic rule book. So deep print games, you guys know how to explain with examples and clarity everything I needed to know to play this game. I largely read this rule book once, watched a little tutorial video out there on Board Game Geek, which I appreciate it that they put that out there. There was Stella and her husband made a good overview, which was fantastic, and I appreciate that. But this rule book was fantastic. It just had everything I needed. It had pictures, it had examples, it had clear descriptions of how to play. And then also the Luna Solo rulebook, very, very good as well. I had to do very little lookup after I learned how to play this game. That's because also the cards were very self-explanatory. Really helped me understand what I was supposed to do. And thank you very much, a fantastic player aid to lead me through the game. Now, why am I emphasizing this so much? I think it's because lately I've played a lot of games where companies are missing in one area or another. Either the rulebook is rife with fringe cases you don't understand, you can't know, you have to look it up, it leaves you guessing, or the information's there. But for me, it doesn't jump out because it wasn't made of an example or whatever. I struggled with it. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm not the smartest person in the world. Or the smartest person in the gaming industry or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the point is this game made it very easy to play without having to go through back and forth in the rulebook. Now, maybe some people learn other ways, and maybe this rulebook, for some, you will find not as clear, but I found it very clear and I appreciate it. And I also really appreciate the very succinct player aid for the solo bot and for you. Really makes it easy to jog your memory on what you do in each of the things. It doesn't cover everything, but that's okay. It covers everything you need to know to get through it. So I really like that. I like the artwork. I like the competition. So the first time I played the game, the solo bot beat me by about 19 points. I like that. They beat me on normal. That's the way it should be. The first time I play a game, I don't want to beat someone on normal. I'd like to beat him on easy the first time I play it, but I want to be beaten by the solo bot on normal. And then that way I can try to be competitive. We can ranch up the difficulty as I get better at the game. I think they did a great job calibrating this to be the right difficulty level so far from what I can see. Also, it fully captures the experience of playing this game multiplayer. Now, I haven't played it multiplayer, but I played Mombasa several times multiplayer, so I know kind of what that should feel like. And this solo bot gives you the complete experience there with very easy to follow instructions on how to execute their turn. There is a little bit of stuff about this most valuable or that most valuable, but it's very simple once you go through the exercise to learn its priorities. The priorities are largely obvious and stay the same, and it makes it easy for you to figure out what to do. So this one gets a high praise for me from a solo standpoint. I really like the game. If you like this design, like this kind of thing, this solo game should deliver in spades. It'll take a little bit more than an hour. There is still 7 rounds, so you're probably looking at, 70 to 90 minutes, I'm guessing. The solo set or the setup is slightly finicky just because you got to put the all those little companies outposts and such in their spots, and you got to lay out the research tiles in their spots. That'd be the only negative I have, but that's just the way it is. Sometimes games have a little fiddly setup you got to deal with. The rest of it plays fantastically. There's so much to like here. I really like it. If you like this kind of game, I think you're going to love this one solo. I really do. So that's my glowing review. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And whatever you play in the future, I hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.